wasting my time transmitting from West Virginia, boy. I'm on a hillside in the stars, wasting my time.
Hey, peace to the world in uncertain times here. I'm Anthony Rogers here. Welcome to Tony Talks Trash about music. Tonight, we're going to put to bed our Zappa topic that we've had. Of course, one of my favorites of all time. But we're going to count down my top 25 Frank Zappa tracks, I guess you want to say. And before I start, there's maybe some stuff that's a bit too long that I've kind of eliminated, and I haven't done it really consciously because I think some of the longer classical pieces, Bob and Dacron, Sad Jane, stuff like that is I would say it's probably in my top 30 or so, but there's some movements of it I love, and Mo and Herb's Vacation's really one too that probably should be on here. But since there really wasn't a definitive version of that ever recorded, if it's probably on some other sort of a track, but it's not on the normal studio records that he released when he was alive. So I don't know. I'm just kind of leading in circles here. Let's get to my top 25 Zappa thing. Again, these are mine. Please do us a favor and hit the like button. We would appreciate it. Really would drive the algorithm some. We're not interested really in getting to be too big, but a few more eyes here wouldn't hurt us. We are trying to bring different type of an angle, different type of a situation to people. People out here in the hinterland, sometimes they get, it goes through different filters as it gets out here. But it's surprisingly, where we live out here in West Virginia, and again, as you can see from the preamble here, we're from Kaiser, and we're right like on the borderline of Maryland. So, Cumberland, Maryland is very close to where we are. And, so we've got a closer Maryland, we got a closer Pennsylvania. We're about equal distance between DC and Pittsburgh. So it's a pretty good thing. And in fact, that's the one of the opening lines in one of the first tracks on our new record that we're talking about. One of these days soon, we'll get to that and do a little update on that. We're coming into the station here before long with it. But let's talk about these Zappa tonight. Top 25 tracks, superb musicianship across the board, different stuff. Let's talk about that great recorded. For number 25, I'm going to go to that greatly recorded record that I talked about on the album Countdown, one of the best recorded records, I think, of the era. And I'm talking about the magnificent One Size Fits All with probably the greatest band he ever assembled. The Fowler Brothers, George Duke, Napoleon Murphy Brock, Ruth Underwood, Chester, Ralph Humphreys. At that time it was Chester Thompson. Ralph Humphreys has left. But, what a band. And we're talking about number 25, Andy from One Size Fits All. Andy Devine had a thong ride. It was sublime, but the wrong kind. Yeah, there's a lot of good versions of this. There's some good versions on that. And one of the, and I don't remember which one of those 88 live things that we were talking about. We want the Trust to re-release on vinyl, all the Zappa hits. But that's not, there's a great version of that on that with a big band from the 88 tour. I remember seeing it at the Warner Theater. It was really fantastic. Number 24. This is a little malleable, believe it or not, because it's the song I believe is in 11, I think, or Outside Now I'm talking about, from Joe's Garage 2. I have a tendency for this, being a drummer. I like it. I love, the versions with both Chad and Vinny on there. Vinny it was really cool the way he played it with those guys. And, Cucurulo even did a couple things like that with Zappa throughout the time. Like Canarsie had kind of an odd sound thing. So I think those three together kind of had a little bit of something going. Patrick Ahern, of course, at the time was holding up the bottom, but it was Arthur Barrow was the one that had taken over in the other age here with Vinny. For number 23, I'm going to hit up on the instrumental 3-record set, or not really 3-record set. I rated them separately. Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. Really, for me personally, records that really transformed me. I was in a formative age as a musician. They came out. They really, informed me a lot about the relationship and what was improvisation, what was written. Before the time you don't know sometimes. You're saying that some of these things, especially in the day and age, when something like Trout Mask Replica comes out, which sounds completely. I think Matt Groening said it very uh, accurately. It sounds like they're not people aren't even trying, and they're playing just completely random. But that's planned. So I know, and then you hear improvisation on this stuff. So as a young guy, you're kind of feeling you're not around bands enough to really do that. I was lucky enough when I was young around here to play all since I was young. My father, again, I told you, was a musician, played around here, and I played songs. So I played drums really to start off with in bands, even though I played piano before that, and I dabbled with guitar and tried to write things and stuff before that time. But really, Zappa was a huge influence in those records on the drumming thing. Man, I thought I died and gone to heaven, with Vinny and Frank just going off on that. But Heavy Duty Judy, when he does that double time jump and stuff in the middle. Something else, man. Heavy Duty Judy was really great. It was actually the first time I heard it was on a boot, I think. It wasn't even on, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. I don't think was out yet. But anyway, let's move on here to number 22. Now, I love the flange. I love the deep sound. I'm talking You Are What You Is, and I'm talking about Dumb All Over and a little ugly on the side with that flange sound going down. If we're dumb, no, if God is dumb, then we're dumb. If we're dumb, then God is dumb. I don't know what he said. That's right. That's the way it goes. I'm sorry. I'm tired. But I love it. I mean, it was, it's intense. I just love the guitar solo at the end, before they go into the Heavenly Bank Account and all that stuff. But anyway, number 22, one of the highlights for me of the You Are What You Is record, Dumb All Over. Number 21, the title track from 1976 record, Zoot Allures, kind of a stripped down affair. Very stripped down, actually. And it was a very surprising record because, number one, it came out of Warner Brothers. Never seen any of these records actually come out on the parent label before. But yeah, he'd been distributed for that. Discreet had been distributed for that for a while. But Zoolors, plus it was a very stripped down record. Wound up working in a gas station. It was really the Andre Lewis band, Terry Bozzio, Patrick O'Hearn, really, and Frank, and pretty stripped down. And Eddie Jobson was there for a while too. And that's really what happened. But what a beautiful, Zoolors, one of the great guitar things that came out of that time. He was really kind of on fire there. I think he did Rat Tomago about the same time. He was really starting to get into that whole deal of playing and a little bit of the polyrhythmic aspect with Bozzio got started. And then when Kali Yuta came, it just went to outer space. But anyway, it's just so beautiful. It's one of the beautiful. I love the way that the band, though, with Wackerman, they used to play it in the 84, whatever, those big long pauses. Bum, bum. Just beautiful. And then Frank would come soaring in and depending on what kind of mode he was playing, it was beautiful. But anyway, number 21, Zoodalores. Number 20, as I explained to you, we're back to the Shut Up and Play Guitar, 3 records. As I explained to you, my favorite of the 3 is Shut Up and Play Your Guitar Some More. It just has a special sound, a special soaring to it. Again, these are solos from Inca Rhodes on all 3 of those records: the Shut Up and Play Guitar, Shut Up and Play Guitar Some More, and Shut Up and Return of Son and Play Guitar, which are actually on each record. Or another one of those nights from London, I think it was Edwin Hammersmith or something, where they played, and he blew it out on Inca Road. So they were different Inca Road solos, and just beautiful with Benny joining the band, and it really taken off. Just a fantastic thing. Great records. Number 19, we go to the wonderful 200 Motels and the melody, which I love, which I wish was a little bit expanded. Would You Like a Snack? Number 19. I just love the melody of it. Da 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 da. I just think it's just beautiful. When I go up, it's awesome, man. It's just a beautiful. The words, I hear the words. They got a humorous touch to it, but they're kind of coming at a humorous angle on this, and the music's serious enough that it really balances. Sometimes, like in the earlier Flow and Eddie records, and it's why I rated them low. It overshadowed it, but I think it had a great balance on 200 Motels. And Would You Like a Snack is fantastic. We're going back to the super recorded, one size fits all, Fidelity's superb, and Inca Roads. Did a vehicle come from somewhere out there just to land in the Andes. And Ruth's playing all the mallet playing and George Duke to sing on that. And when George Duke joined the band, early on that he didn't want to sing, but over the period of time, just like the synthesizer, he came to love it, and it was great. There's some great stuff on YouTube if you haven't seen it with George Duke talking about how Frank encouraged him to play and branch out and play the synthesizer and such. To number 17, our first stop on the magnificent and really underappreciated Synclavier masterpiece he recorded, Civilization Phase 3, and we're talking about Diofa, basically an anthem that he wrote, and it's just gorgeous. It's very hard for me to describe these, but Diofa to me is extremely picturesque, and I don't know what anybody else is imagining when these things are happening, but you hear all these movements and different things. It's a fairly long piece. But what it means, Diofa, God is a liar. What he was going to do, he actually had, at some point, there was some contact or something that he was going to be able to, at the World Cup, perform that, and or have a band perform that, and it was written for that. And I think it was they somebody paid for it. Fabulous track. I don't see how in the world, it certainly was pretty uncompromising too harmonically. So it'd be very difficult for me to say, other than somebody sitting in a chamber hall, that was going to be, a big pop hit like maybe Pitbull or something. I guess would be now. I just can't. It was just funny. But it's true. You look it up, man. It's true. It's true about Diofa. Number 16, that acoustically strummed, beautiful song with the xylophones connecting with the woodwinds. I'm talking about Project X from Uncle Meat. That's my favorite, number 16. Number 15, let's return to Civilization Phase 3 again, and that fabulous, goofy left, Secular Humanism. Not very long, but the tracks and the way he combines those mallet-sounding sounds, almost like wood, and then it goes, it's so bizarre. But I can't even explain to you why I like it. Again, it deals somewhat in microtonality and such and bends such. I just love the record. I think really my advice to anybody again about Phase 3 is if it failed to connect with you, but you could get through on most of Jazz from Hell and that stuff, I'd give it a try again. It's a very intense record. Again, it takes a while to break through it, but it comes with my highest recommendation here. It really does. It's absolutely one of my favorite records of Frank. Number 14 from Joe's Garage, Act 2 and 3. Maybe you thought I was the Packard Goose. Da, 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 da. Ronald McDonald of the Nouveau Abstruse. Bum, 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 ba, da, 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 da. I'm not going to sing this stuff for you. But anyway, great record. Great song. Everybody loves it. It's the whole message, F you to the critics. And, he's going to do what he wants to do and describes the record industry. Mo pushed the button, boy, and she better suck a little harder or the shackles won't flow. Oh, my God. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. But the playing, though, when they get to the end part, the stop, ba-da, bum, ba, ba-da, when they get to that part, that's where it just gets to be crazy. Packard Goose is superb, and they come back in, they hit it. Vinny to me turned my head around, man. He's my favorite Zappa drummer. I mean, I love Chad, I love all of them, I really do. But Vinny is the man, as far as I'm concerned. Love Bozio, love Chester, I love all of them, man. I mean, they taught me so much. Number 13, let's go to another Synclavier record, and the permutation of While You Were Out that turned into While You Were Art too, with the randomizer aspect. I understand went through this and kind of constructed sort of an early AI version, I guess, or something akin to that, for Jazz from Hell. And so this is what you understand. It sounds like it's cut up. It sounds like it's jumping from station to station, but that's kind of how it is. It's almost like, it kind of reminds me of the time. It was a little bit ahead of the time, but I mean, when they when they did that CDI thing, Todd Rundgren did that CDI thing, you could kind of change and put together things, and these parts would converge, and you could hear those do that. And I guess if you wrote it in snippets, something in snippets, and could put it together like that, and that's kind of what While You Were R2 is, except on the synclavier. And to me, it's just breathtaking. I think it's superb. I mean, I like While You Were Out. I like this too. This is fantastic. Anyway, that's how it is. For number 12, we're going to go to Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch in Envelopes, which was always one of my favorites from the time. When Chad and Scott Tunis joined the band, just an interesting, uh, really interesting take on things, and you have the mallets and the nice unison lines. Just brilliant. I always loved it. It was a great showcase for Ed Mann or whoever was playing mallets and the keyboard players to get tight. And, of course, the rhythm section was always hot as hell. Number 11, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to combine two songs because they kind of go together. I'm talking about Oh No and the Orange County Lumber Truck from Weasel's Rip My Flesh. Of course, the lyrics in response to All You Need Is Love to John Lennon. Oh no, I don't believe it. The lyrics. Anyway, it goes in the beautiful Orange County Lumber Truck, and then I think Ruth Underwood described it as she heard them playing that, and then it went into some chaotic, loud thing like did you get any on you or something, right after that. But just fantastic. Number 9, let's go to Them or Us for Sinister Footwear 2. Just a magnificent thing with the way Chad plays it, and the mallet player. And man, it's just a gorgeous thing. They play it so well. And I think really of all the drummers, I think the cleanest to play this stuff really was Chad. Vinny Vinny put a little bit of, always put eyebrows on things and played it his way, and everybody had their stuff. And I love the way that Chad played with this. I couldn't imagine anybody else doing a better job of Sinister Footwear than Chad. And it's a wonderful rhythm section here, and then the solo is superb. Number 9, we're going to stick with Chad in that kind of a situation, and I believe there's somewhere where Steve Vai is online talking about the evolution of the song Mogio. He said, he would go to Frank's house, and Frank would show him this little piece, and he'd show him a little more, and he'd show him this, and it turned into Mogio live. And I've had great versions of it, bootleg versions before it was out, and always loved it from Man from Utopia, isn't it? That's funny that's one of the records that doesn't get a lot of credit because of the voice that goes through, but a lot of it's kind of annoying. The radio is broken, all that stuff. It's okay. It's funny. Like I said, the other one, the one he didn't put on there he did more than that live. If you hear live, like that song, You Look Like a Dork and stuff. It was annoying as hell. But anyway, you put up with it if the other stuff's great as this stuff is. Number 8, I'm going to go back to the Fabulous Civilization Phase 3 and Beat the Reaper, the pretty much, before Waffenspiel, the next to last track that ever was put, out by Zappa, sort of, that he worked on, during his life, really, as a real record. And talking about Beating the Reaper, pretty heavy stuff. And then it gets into the kind of bizarre Waffenspiel. It takes it off. It takes a long time to get used to it, but Beat the Reaper is breathtaking again, like the others that I've spoken. There are a number of great tracks on it, and they're typically the longer ones that are good. I did do a shorter one on here too, but fantastic. Number 8, that's Beat the Reaper from Civilization Phase 3. Number 7, Redunzo, which we had actually back in the Ralph Humphrey band in 73 with, I think the recording was at that time was Jean-Luc Ponty, and I know Ralph Humphrey was on it, Fowler Brothers. There's another demo recording, I think, of that and one other of the songs, but really, really great song, great shift. I love that everybody loves that, and then it's so cool, those connector parts. That one's very hard. The first one was always difficult for me. I finally got it, but I mean, it took a long time to get how to count it in your mind. You're very, very odd. But Chad just, toss it right off, goes right into it. And They have no problem with it. Redunzo number 7. Number 6, the majestic vocal laden George Duke, beautiful sofa number 2 from which actually started with the Flo and Eddie band before. There are versions of that, over in the area when Frank got pushed off the stage at the Rainbow and that tour with Monterey, where or Montreux, where the casino burned down, from the flares. Somebody setting off the flare in the Zappa show. Um, they were playing it at that point. The sofa thing was into the mix. Anyway, sofa number 2, beautiful, one of the great cans. Number 5, the climax of 200 Motel, Strictly Gentile. I won't hear any more. I think carrying lyrics and the lyrics in that song and just the beautiful chord changes. I could listen to it with or without vocals. There's always so many great bands have it. I've been fortunate enough to hear it in the '88 band, and there's a great recording on. I think it's the last thing on Make a Jazz Noise here, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, my neck's hurt a little bit. The other one is, of course, the Theodore Bickel and the end of Strictly Gentile talking about things and announcing, and the end part is something, but really the beautiful part is the is the live versions. I love a lot of. There's some great versions on. You can't do that on stage anymore. I would point you in that direction first, probably. Number 4, my favorite song of all the ones in Civilization Phase 3, and that's "End Light," a song that ends the first side. Wow, man, that is really something, and is just absolutely as breathtaking and more than Beat the Reaper. Beat the Reaper has a little more of a rattly, darker sound. It seems like it's in a more rattly, like big reeded sounds and stuff he went for, in some of the stuff. But especially Beat the Reaper, I think a little more. But End Light is just beautiful. I don't know how to describe it. Again, it's you got these beautiful sections and beautiful sounds, and it's just, again, very picturesque music. I love it. I love it to death. And again, highest recommendation, Civilization Phase 3. Number 4, that is End Light. Number 3, let's go to the song where I think the lyrics probably harm the presentation the most. I'm talking about one of the climaxes from 200 Motel's Penis Dimension. I just think the chords in the song are beautiful. The melody, even sung, is just beautiful. The lyrics are offensive, and probably make the midnight crowd, at the theater laugh. But still, despite this, the musical greatness of it places it up high, and that's exactly why I had 200 Motels at number 1. The combination of these things make it the very best. Number 2, let's go to what most drummers consider to be the hardest thing Zappa ever wrote. Especially, I guess they never heard Mo and Her's Vacation or Pedro's Dowry or any of those things yet. Or oh my God. Anyway. But we're talking about the Black Page, number 2, and then it's of course a classic from New York with Bozio playing it, written especially for Bozio. How'd you like to have that feeling? Hey, you had this written for you, and then Terry played it and played it well, and took it from there. And they asked Zappa, who played it the best, and he said Terry did. So it's just that's original, it works for that. And you're all wondering what's number 1. Number 1, we are going to go to Hot Rats. Now, what do you think number 1's going to be? You probably think I'm going to say Peaches. I don't say Peaches. I'm saying the last track, It Must Be Camel, I think is one of the most beautiful serial type melodies that I've ever heard. The instrumentation of it just it's beautiful. And that sax, dun, 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 I think it's off the chart beautiful, and it represents to me an era and a certain feeling. When I heard this, of course, again, I was chasing, like Jay and I talked about in the other videos. We were kind of catching up, and I was catching up with this. But when I heard this, there's just something about this, especially coming after the Beefheart track, Willie the Pimp. And then I guess you get through the Gumbo Variations, I guess, is the next. I'm not sure. But anyway, It's just blessed, kind of like Blessed Relief comes in. I think this after Gumbo, this thing. They'll play Zappa overdub and all those drums. Anyway, magnificent. There must be 100 that could be in these 25. You guys do us a favor. Please hit the like button, and we would appreciate it if you would subscribe if you like these things. We're putting Frank Zappa to bed tonight. Frank Vincent Zappa. You know, I'm such a freak. I went up to try to find over in the Havre de Grace where he lived a long time, because we're not too far from Baltimore. We go there some. And I stayed there actually one summer, you know, when I studied for the bar when I got out. But anyway, thank you guys. We really appreciate the people that tune into this, and we promise to be back at you shortly with something next time, new and fresh. Thanks. Catch you again.